I want to continue to talk about what we discussed in the previous video. How two people that share completely opposite views would be able to love each other through deeply seeing and unconditional acceptance. I gave the example of a spiritual person and a materialist being in a romantic relationship. How the spiritual person can no longer agree with a materialistic point of view, but they can see that for the materialist, their view is truly valid for them. Where the agreement or disagreement are totally relevant. I tried to think about it backwards, in reverse. Like, how can a materialist in this situation, the materialist, can they understand and love, which means see deeply, the spiritual person? I thought about it. My first answer was no. Because I thought the only reason why a materialist is a materialist is because they cannot understand. They cannot, but do not at all understand the truth of spirituality. So they couldn't possibly understand or see how this is valid for the spiritual person. But I just thought deeper, and I tried to feel deeper, and I just realized I just made an old mistake. Because in this realm of love, agreement or disagreement is totally irrelevant. The materialist does not have to understand spirituality. Because anybody that understands spirituality would become spiritual. The people that aren't spiritual is not because they know about spirituality and they choose not to be, but they do not understand spirituality at all. But this is kind of off topic again here. The materialist can stand out of their disagreement, but just see how their lover has to be spiritual, because this is so incredibly true to them, and this understanding is not intellectual, it's a felt thing. They can feel and see deeply that their lover has to be spiritual and how this is valid for them, even though they don't understand, like, in an intellectual level. And that is where there is no longer the materialist and the spiritual person. There are only two people. Two people seeing each other, recognizing each other's validity with full respect. Respect is not a choice. I don't choose to respect you. That is not authentic. You can choose to respect someone by keeping your distance, by not trying to invade their boundaries in a way, like you keeping a distance. And that is, I learned this word, artificial respect. It's not authentic, it's not genuine. It's more like you're keeping yourself out of something, like a trouble or something, difficult situation. It's not real respect. Real respect is not a choice for the product or the consequence of deep understanding. You can see how something is so true to someone, or their truth is just true to them. You see that and you acknowledge that. And I cannot tell you, I'm not describing what this is like, because it's a felt thing. You gotta feel it yourself. Like, you see someone, look at someone you love, and see how their truth, feel how their truth is their truth. And like, just by talking about it, I kind of want to cry already. This seeing, this deep seeing and profound understanding, especially focuses on the most vulnerable part of a person, which is universal in everyone, like the insecurity, their most fundamental longing. Well, that is for nothing other than love, obviously, for nothing other than being seen and understood and accepted. That is the same for everyone. And of course, the universal insecurity, and the insecurity is also universal, that is the feeling of undeserving of such love. Like, they don't feel like all of them can be accepted. They feel parts of them are full, or are, full. So to see someone, it's not to see, it's less, or it's secondary to see that how their values are valid to them, or what they believe in, or what they talk about every day, their beliefs, how they are true to them. But primarily, you see the deepest, the most fundamental part of a person. That is like how vulnerable they are, and you see their insecurities. That's what I. At least I don't know. I need to think about it, if it's just my thing or it's everybody's. But I feel it's everyone's, of course. Because what is bigger of an insecurity than the uncertainty of whether or not the whole of me deserves to be loved? Well, this can manifest, of course, in different people in many different ways. But you can see this fundamental dynamic in every person. That is this longing to be fully loved, and the insecurity that they don't deserve so. And you just see that. You can apply this to anyone, and you gotta see it. But the dynamic is this way, but the manifestation of such dynamic is different in everyone. That's for you to see. That's how you love everyone differently, but in the same way. As there is only one love. For a long time, I thought, because I am a very, very strongly opinionated person, I'm kind of worried that I have this insecurity that people would think I am narrow-minded, and I also think so. I think because I am so strongly opinionated on the core things, I can take anything other than what I believe in. It does sound just like narrow-mindedness, but I just had this insight. It's not that I am a strong-minded person, but I am a strong-hearted person. Anything that's different from what I feel deeply, like my most core values, anything different than that in any way sounds like a dissonance, sounds like a disharmony. I can't take that. I look at what my heart tells me, and I can't let go any of that. I can't accept anything other than that. So, my values, I thought for a long time I wanted someone that can see, can understand, can agree with them. Not agree in details, but agree in a broad direction with everything that I believe in that is core. Well, I don't believe in anything that isn't core. Anything that I believe in, I have a belief about, they are core. Or maybe that's not true, to be fair. And if it's not something I have such a strong belief in, anything like things that are less core to me, I'm super flexible, very, very flexible, very, very open-minded. I admit when I'm wrong, and I applaud when I think someone else is more right. I do that very easily. I don't have to feel like I have to be right. Even though, yes, everybody feels it. It's a better feeling that they're right. But when I also can recognize when someone else is right, and I say it very easily. I change my mind if I feel they are more right than me. I change my mind immediately about things that are just not core to me. Even things that are core to me, if someone can show me a different side that I feel is just as valid than that my heart can resonate with, of course I take it in immediately. I haven't so far found someone that can expand my heart or my perspective, my heart's perspectives, because I just haven't found anyone that so see everything from the heart rather than from analysis or reasoning. So, like I said, for a long time I thought I wanted to find someone that would agree with me, that they would be the only one that can understand me, that would be able to love me. Yeah, that's it. It doesn't matter if I can find people that agree with me, and that is important too, but the most important part is I want to feel loved, which is I want to feel deeply seen. I thought I needed to find someone that can agree with my core values. But now, I'm not 100% sure anymore if this is the only way I can feel loved. Maybe it's someone that's... But because my core values, they're so from my heart that I don't believe I think it's impossible that someone that can see me deeply would not agree with these core values. They're not my personal values. They're universal. They're not my personal value. They're not my personal perspective of the world. Such as love. I look at love, and I don't think it's a personal thing to think that love is a fundamental part. I don't believe it's a personal thing. You cannot convince me otherwise. Because I have investigated myself through feeling, really. If it's really true that it is universal, love is really the most important thing for everyone. I tried to think about other examples, and the most extreme examples like I would usually do to test some of my beliefs or conclusions. And I found out. But I think what's more important than this, what it feels like more important than this, is someone that sees my insecurities, because I'm one that has many. Around so many things. And I feel like if someone can see my insecurities, I truly feel seen. Like, there's no part of me that's left out. Every uncertainty I have about myself, my worthiness of being loved, gets denied, gets straightened. All that confusion and fears. In that song that says, all my ghosts are gone and shed light on. And that is just the most profound love. Well, again, there's only one love, and love is this profound. In fact, love is always this profound. Anything less than this profound is just not love yet. But I feel it doesn't have to be like they literally see in details all of the things in details, all of the things that I'm insecure about, but that I feel like this person really can understand how I am insecure. Like, they don't have to know every aspect of my insecurities in details concretely, but they just can. I just feel like I feel safe around them because I feel they can see me. They can see I have these insecurities and how deep they go, and they go deeper. And that only takes love. That doesn't take commitment, that doesn't take loyalty, that doesn't take faith. It only takes love. And this is not something you can ask for. It happens. It has to happen automatically. It does happen automatically and effortlessly. People that truly love you, they don't love you from a distance, like admiring you as if you're an art piece and see how beautiful you are and everything, but they stand by you, even into you, in your shoes. It's not about admiration, because love stands beyond, before, behind good and bad. In love's eyes, you're loved not because you're good, but all parts of you are valid and profound for you. Like, no parts of you is left out. Because what love is unconditional acceptance and profound understanding, which are one and the same thing. I have just a very curious question to ask, which is, what is the difference between unconditional acceptance and indifference? For example, I have this fan in my room, and I feel like they don't judge me. I can be whatever I want. I can look very ugly in front of the fan. I can show it everything about me. I won't be judged. Is that unconditional acceptance? There must be a difference, because I don't feel loved by the fan, unless I try to. But suddenly I felt the answer is straightforward. Indifference and unconditional acceptance, the difference is whether or not you're being looked at. Indifference is like, maybe I'm looking at you, but I really don't care. Like, you can do whatever you want. I don't complain about anything. I don't judge you at all. It's because I'm not seeing you. So you can do whatever you want. Like the fan is blind, it can't see me. Or even if it can't see me, it's an empty stare. It's not seeing me. But unconditional acceptance is, I not only look at you, but I do see you. I see you. But what is the difference between seeing and just looking at? They sound like the same thing, because we use these two words interchangeably. They mean the same thing in our daily life. Look that way and then you see. Look at me. You see me. I'm here. Just imagine two people. One is just looking at you, really, and another one is seeing you. What is the difference? Okay, they're both watching me, let's say. Watching. What is the difference here? They're watching me. Let's say I tell my story in front of them. They're both listening. They both have their attention on me. And they both will remember my story that I'm telling about me. And they both will be able to tell my story exactly the same way to other people. Because they both have had their attention on me, listening to me during the whole process. Why do I only feel love from one of them? What makes it different? And let's say they both have not judged me at all. They both have not had a one single negative judgment about me in their mind during the whole process. They're just listening, watching me. For the first person from which I don't feel love, for me, their acceptance with no judgments feels like indifference, because they just sit there and then they listen to me tell a story. And then for them it's like, okay, this is the story from this person. That's it. All right. And they don't have any judgments or anything. Just, all right, that's it then. I learned this about you. Great. The second person, I can see compassion and love from their eyes. And I feel they can see my most insecurities, my most deepest insecurities from the story. And they say, I understand. Or they don't even have to say a thing. I feel deeply seen. What is the difference? What causes such a difference? Oh, suddenly I had this insight. I thought about it for a long time. I paused and I thought about it. It's because the first person, they're listening, yes. Every word I say, yes. No judgments, yes. But they're like looking at the story from a distance. Okay, this is her story, that's right. This happened, this and this happened. And then she had this and this and that. All right. All makes sense. And that's it. But the second person, they became me. As I tell my story, they live the story as me. So they could resonate with everything I've felt. And so they can deeply, deeply understand me. This is such an important insight. I had never thought about something like this before. And there's such a profound insight when it comes to compassion. And now I suddenly can understand immediately when I couldn't have compassion for someone else's story. And why I didn't. Wow. But here it's not a judgment or a requirement here that you must be the second person in this example. You must be the second person whenever somebody speaks. And if maybe for some reason you want to distance yourself in some situations. If you're not sure if you can have the capacity to accept all the feelings of someone, like when you listen to a story of trauma, let's say, you might choose to distance yourself. Or just anything that you think it's just gonna create a negative impact on you. Like when you watch news, for example, if you still have to watch news, you hear a victim telling their story. You're not there for them, and so it is a very traumatic story, or just sad overall. You might choose to just really distance yourself a little. You just have to follow your heart in every situation. You don't even have to have a reason to do whatever you want to do, you feel like doing. Just feel it. The reason it doesn't have to be there, or it doesn't have to be valid even. You gotta feel your way out, not plan your life and decide who you want to be from a thinking level or from the level of judgments, which says, I must do this because this is what good people would do. If I don't do this, I will be a bad person. There you're not living your life from deeply seeing you. And or maybe you're someone, you just find yourself constantly in a place where when you listen to others, no matter who, no matter what, you just always listening from a distance again. You find yourself doing that automatically, and and please don't beat yourself up. It's not your fault. I mean, it's not about right or wrong here. The first person you gotta listen to with hearts open is yourself. Once you can do that, you would be able to do that for other people automatically, effortlessly, if not automatically. And you don't look at those people that just can do this, can listen with heart open, not from a distance, automatically. There are people, they're empaths. They have compassion all the time in all situations. They feel too much, a lot. You don't want to look at them and say, oh, they're better than me. They're better people. Here you just made another judgment. Against yourself. It's all a process. You gotta see yourself first. You gotta see yourself deeply. Accept yourself. unconditionally without judgments. This is always your prioritization. I don't know how to pronounce that word. Prioritization. I think that's right. From there, you have direct access to the solid foundation or source of love. And it just flows out. You don't even need to give it. It just flows out, overflows. You are the first person to give your empathy for, to have empathy for. You're your first person to forgive, to stop judging, to fully see and understand deeply. And we will do it together. Now that I'm talking about it, and I've mastered it, it's new to me as well. The content of these videos. It has also been my first time hearing about them. So I'm no master. I'm more like a messenger or a discoverer. So yes, we will do it together. Thank you for listening.